What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another MMA superstar. This time we get to talk to Jamahal Hill, who's just recently signed the bout agreement. He'll be facing Thiago Santos in August of this year. Welcome, Jamahal. How are you?
What's going on? First of all, bro, who y'all got on the inside, bro? I need to know.
Well, A, we're just MMA Junkie to begin with. And B, yeah, we got a lot of insides.
Yeah, I see that because you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out how I signed a contract, and like 10 minutes later, y'all look. You know what I mean? What's happening? we all greasing.
To be fair, because I think I was looking back, I was going to ask you a question about these first 10 fights. I know you've had 11, but so I went back and I go, okay, well, he jumped into the sport around 2016, but prior to that,
wrong.
Hold on a second.
Go back.
Well, I mean, competing as a pro. I mean,
competing as a pro,
yeah. But prior to that, we had a nice run of winning 5 times the best media source at the World MMA Awards. So things have gotten a little cold lately, but we plan on grabbing it this year. But yeah, man, that's just how we get things done, you know?
Yeah, I got the hot takes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I wanted to ask you, this is a full 3 months you'll get, right? And compare that to the times you've probably been offered less than 3 months. What goes through your head? Like, are you always kind of prepared, or is this going to bring a whole new level of being prepared for this big bout against Thiago Santos?
I mean, yeah, it gives me more time to lock in and do the right things and take care of my body better. Anytime you have more time, I feel like for a fight, you should be looking at how to get to your weight and be the best you can physically on the night that you're supposed to fight. So, I definitely, with more time, I feel like, I'll be a better version of myself.
You've been facing some tough cats, man, like straight out of the gate. Like, you haven't really caught too many breaks. But I wanted to ask you, this is the first time you're going to face someone that, I guess, to be fair, no disrespect to the other ones, has been a title contender because he fought for the title within the last 2 years. So he kind of reached that top 5, top 3 status. And I wanted to ask you, being as that is, do you feel like this win now has you in that little circle of Blachowicz and Glover and whoever else? Is that how big this fight is?
Yeah, well, I did fight it. I fought a title contender before. I fought OSP. He fought for the title. He won 5 rounds with who y'all say is the greatest, and and that was in his prime. So yeah, I feel like I fought in some pretty high level dudes and everything like that. I feel like Thiago probably is the biggest name and the most like respected and everything like that. But so yeah, I think a win over him definitely does put me in that conversation of those top dudes and like, you know what I mean, the top 5 area. So yeah.
Well, I really like this matchup, and
I didn't answer that question, so we're clear.
What's that?
I didn't know the way I answered that question. So we're clear. We good. Keep going.
You didn't like the last question?
No, I didn't like the way I answered it. It's fine.
Oh, okay. But you're Jamahal Hill, for crying out loud. I mean, you're a superstar now. I wanted to ask you another thing too. The fashion, man. Like, this is another thing that I think your success has allowed you to kind of branch out and have fun in between fights. You're like one of the most fashionable guys or gals in MMA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, that's it's just something that just came from like, you know, me and my brothers and like my boys. You know, we be going out, we go to parties. We be like, all right, who could throw the outfit together the best? You know, we ain't had much, so you know what I mean. You had to throw it together how you could. So now I got a little bit more room to play. So you know, I like to show my creativity in all types of ways. Which is actually funny. My boy actually just hit me up not that long ago and was like, bro, don't you got a stylist? Like, I was just talking to this girl. She was like, oh, he be dressed. He's like, oh, yeah, my man's hired a stylist. Cut that out, man. It's all me. Like, when you got the sauce, you don't need a stylist.
No, yeah, it's really, really slick. Like I said, that's why I went with the T-shirt look, because in one of those, I was inspired by you. I had another shirt I was going to put on, and I go, wait a minute, he's rocking the T-shirt. I'm missing a chain. but you had a nice fit going on. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna chill with this. Obviously, you haven't recognized, so I
Drop
must not have done that good. It's just the
the rollout.
Hanes, you know.
I ain't even dropped the rollout from the fits from last week in Phoenix. I might have to drop those. I might have to drop those today. Hey, I
Now,
have
is that
fits for Phoenix though. I'm about to go to
have you?
Tampa tomorrow. I might have to slide out to the mall and see what I can grab for that.
What's in Tampa?
My coaches are going down to they're competing in jiu-jitsu tournament down there, so I'm just going down there to help. You know what I mean? Keep
Mhm.
them loose and just support.
How do you also make sure that you don't get too caught up in the lifestyle and you don't buckle down and like whatever it is that when you're supposed to fight 90 days, I don't know if that means 180 workouts, 2 per day, or how do you make sure you don't get pulled in so many directions either? Because I see that happening with the more popular fighters. As they gain more success, you see them flying all over the world.
I have a very, very acute awareness of what I need to do and the time that I need to do it. I've been through multiple camps. You know what I mean? So like even like so like yeah, I've actually been fighting since 2010, bro. I've so total amateur and professionally, I've gone through 25 camps. So I know what my where I am, how much time I need to be, how much time I need, what my body needs, what my body will look like if I only give it this time and that and things like that. So yeah, I know when to lock in, and I'm pretty disciplined in that.
So we need to update your chapology. Either that, or you need to understand that street fights don't count as regular fights. You don't have camps for street fights, do you?
The fuck is you talking about? I just I had fucking amateur fights. You talking
Well,
about
I only saw one amateur fight in
amateur
2016,
fight?
and then in 2017 you kicked off your pro career. So I'm doing the math. I know you're about to turn 31, but you said you've been doing this since 2010. So I take
Okay,
12 from
hold
31
on, hold on, because now you about to
plus.
fuck. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You just said y'all wanted to win best source and all of that shit. All you have to do is YouTube me, and you can find fights from back to 2010. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They're out. Come on, man. Come on, come
Well,
on,
but
come on, come on,
those don't
source
matter, and
man.
I'll tell you why. Because nothing's going to compare to you and your friends holding down the fort. Remember when those guys rushed your house? You told us about it. The
Bro.
the fight that
Yeah,
lasted half an hour. So I figured,
yeah.
well, nothing's ever going to top that. We'll just concentrate from 2017 on. You're how do you like?
Bro, I'd have been in many, bro. I already know, and that was just a setup. You trying to drag another story out me. I wanted to pull. He's trying to pull another
I'm working my
story.
magic. All right, let me get back to the serious stuff. Here's what I want to ask you. You're about to turn 31. 30 is a significant number. All those round numbers are significant numbers. So's the number 10. So we missed you by one fight, and you're about to turn 31. But did you have a goal when you started at 25, 26 as an amateur and pro of maybe by 30 I want to do this, by 10 fights I want to be this, like, and have you met those goals? Was one of them maybe even headlining a UFC card?
Um, so like like amateur, this all started for me whenever I was like 18. You know, so my goals back then and everything like that was to be the greatest of all time. Oh, John Jones was a champion at 22. I'm gonna be one at 20. You know what I mean? All these things. So no, things ain't really exactly happen the way that I want them to. But I am where I wanted to eventually be. I'm in the UFC. I'm ranked. I'm headlining cards. You know what I mean? That's exactly where I want to be. So I can't really ask for much more and things like that. So yeah, for me, I'm trending in the right direction, you know. I'm trying to raise my stock.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like I say, we spoke to you when you had just won your first fight in the UFC, and now coming off. For one, I thought after the Craig fight, I remember we asked you about Crute, and you got, I got this, because obviously both guys look for submissions, and you did. You went out there and you took care of him. Then you went against someone else who has a completely different style in Johnny Walker, big cat, very powerful, and that was a clean finish in that fight. So I can tell that when you take strides, they're pretty big strides towards the top of you getting better. It just seems like it's raw talent that's been molded, and little by little, but a lot faster than other fighters. Other fighters seem to take a little longer to get that good.
Well, I've been this good. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Is I've been this good. Don't get me wrong. I'm evolving. But my evolution comes from the understanding and the knowledge of fighting in the fight, what I can do, and things like that. But as far as these abilities, I've always had them. You know what I'm saying? Even back, even back whenever I was fighting amateur, I'm able. The main thing that I feel like is my best asset in a fight is my IQ and is my mind. I have a very good awareness of what's happening in the fight, where I am, where I stand, and, just situational awareness and things like that.
Man, you ruined my next question. I was just about to ask you something very similar. If you look at some of the past champions, right? You look at John Jones, Daniel Cormier, Blachowicz, all these guys, Glover Teixeira. I was going to ask you what separates you from them. And in my head, the answer was this up here. But is that what you feel like it is? The fight IQ? Is that what separates you kind of from the pack the last
Yeah,
couple of years, champions?
that's what I feel like separates me from every champion there's ever been. You know what I'm saying? Not just in recent and things like that, like just all of them. Period. And then not only that, I have some very good physical gifts myself. I'm not small. Like regardless of somehow this narrative has been built that I'm small just because I'm not big and I'm bulky. I can throw as long as I need to, and you don't want to feel these things. You know what I mean? And they're fast. And there's nobody in this division that's faster than me. You know what I mean? Period. Hands down. Pick somebody, find them. I dare them to test it.
Jamal, so how do you get that way? I know you don't want to come off as arrogant, but I feel like a lot of it is through you. And I'm sure coaches and family members help along the way. But how would you say you've come to this point?
The same thing. It goes right back to that. My mind. Like it's not just it's when I'm saying my mind, I'm not just saying like, oh, like this is a weapon. The things that I'm able to do, how I'm able to look at things and pick things apart and understand things and just create different things is something I truly do not understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like a split second. It can be something small, just somehow you pop a jab out, how it touches my hand, how it lands, how you move your hand a certain way. It's just small things, any small thing, and it don't even have to be a mistake. It can just be something that creates something to create that spark in my head, and I get into it, bang. You know what I mean? It's just, bro, it's just a whole nother level of and understanding.
George talked a little bit about the different styles that you've seen. You've seen a lot of different looks and different fighters. This one here with Thiago, he's a pretty aggressive guy. Is this kind of like the music to your ears type of matchup, or do you enjoy solving the other types of puzzles?
I mean, I enjoy any puzzle. I mean, I enjoy being challenged in any way. If you have a challenge to present, that's an opportunity for me to grow, an opportunity for me to learn something, and that's what I love about this. I just love being able to grow, understand, learn something new. You know what I mean? That's all I'm looking for, and that's how this stays excited me. That's how this stays fun to me. As far as aggressive, I don't feel like Tiago's aggressive just for some. Look at how boring his fights have been. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand like he had the surgery and things like that. But you know what I mean? If you feel you have to feel you healthy enough to a certain degree to get in there and get after it. And just to stand there and kind of sit back like that, you know what I mean? That's to me that's not aggressive. What I do know, Thiago he's powerful. And if he's aggressive if he gets on top of you. You know what I'm saying? But he's a powerhouse. That's all I see is I just see a powerhouse. And that's it. And it takes more than just a powerhouse to beat me.
We were talking to Big John McCarthy yesterday, and we were talking about different eras of our sport. And when George and I first started our show, the big guys in your division were Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, Vanderlei Silva, Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson. How do you think which one of those would be like a dream matchup for you from back in the day, matching up against Jamahal Hill of today?
Like a dream matchup in like what sense? Like as in like payday, or are we talking about like I feel like I could beat, like I'd be easier to beat, or what? Like what do you mean?
That would be a fun matchup for the fans that you would enjoy.
Um, any of them. I mean, any of them. I mean, I seen Chuck this weekend. I chopped it up with Chuck. I respect Chuck. I love how Chuck was one of those guys that brought MMA to the forefront. You know what I mean? To the mainstream. He was the face of it. You know what I mean? He brought the excitement. He came to bang. You know what I mean? He gave a lot. He gave a lot of blood, sweat, and just straight up just, you know what I mean, injuries and just of his body and shit to the sport, to, you know what I mean, to help put this where it is. So a matchup like that, hell yeah, I'd love that.
That was actually the one I would want to watch, is a prime Chuck versus a prime Jamahal Hill. I think that would be entertaining for the fans for sure. I think it would be entertaining for you as well. Let's keep it real. Randy is super tough, but he's got his style of fighting. And if you can't solve that puzzle, it can be a long night. There's been a lot of people that have taken L's from that guy. If you can
Randy
solve it,
Orton,
then yeah, then the tide seems to turn, and he's very, very consistent. Vanderlei is wild. He throws those hooks, and Rampage Jackson, counter fighter. He likes to even though he started
now,
as a wrestler.
don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I love all these guys. They're legends in sport, all of that. You know what I mean? They had their time and they helped build the sport to what it is. I would knock every single one of those dudes out.
Fair enough. I think you should have that type of confidence for sure. And by the way, after you said, is there anyone quicker than me? I pulled up the USA Today sports rankings just to make sure, but you're right. It does look like you are the quickest guy, at least out of the 15 names that I saw there. But here's another question that popped up. Scott Coker's constantly saying, we got the best light heavyweight division. Make a pitch on behalf of the UFC light heavyweights. He's got Nemkov, he's got Phil Davis, he's got Anthony Johnson, he's got a few other guys over there, Corey Anderson. But what do you think about
on a bunch of names that I didn't even, bro? Like, man, I don't even know who fight for them, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who fight for them, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you talking about who we talking about? We talking about, you said who? Was this
Okay.
Bellator?
So Phil Davis, Mr. Wonderful.
I like Phil. Phil's tough. I like Phil. Phil's a good fighter.
Then there's Vadim Nemkov, who is their champion. He's the one that just fought Corey Anderson, and you remember Corey Anderson probably for sure. So him and Corey Anderson just fought, and there was no resolution because of a headbutt. So the fight has to be, they have to compete again. Anthony Johnson, Rumble, he came back, but with Bellator, so he's with them now. So Scott Coker's lately been saying, hey, I think we have the strongest light heavyweights in the world.
Fuck no, because I will knock all those dudes out. They will all get knocked out too.
I love it, man. Good stuff, Jamahal. Last question. You said that when you started about 12 years ago, you had these dreams of maybe even being younger than John Jones when you found success, this, that, whatever. You were honest and you said, I didn't reach it. But had you reached it, and going back to tying in your love of fashion and lifestyle and things like that, would you have been able to handle it? Because being a champion and having money and fame, sometimes it appears when you're too young, some people can't handle it, and next thing you know, they spiral out of control. Not just their professional career, but their personal career. Whereas I think someone maybe in their late 20s and early 30s settle into a maturity where they can handle it. Next thing you know, they make the most out of it and they don't come up short.
Yeah, I think I'd have been fine because I've always had the same kind of structure around me. Even back then, like I said, I got the same people with me. I'm with the same coaches and with the same people. I mean, I've been the same person. I'm still the same person. I don't know how to be anybody else. My entire life, all I knew how to be was me. I mean, and it's worked out for me. And that's all I stuck to. You know what I mean? And maybe I would have made some bad decisions and things like that with it. But I think overall, I've always, as a kid, been waiting to build myself as a brand, build this foundation. You know what I mean? And things like that. So I think if I'd have got it sooner, would I have messed it up? No.
I think you've done great so far, man. It's amazing. Like I say, the huge steps you've taken in the short time that we've seen you compete in the UFC has been, like I say, unlike too many others. So congrats, man. I think you're on a great pace. I would almost venture to say that 22-year-old Jamahal might have actually lost that money at the casino, that April Fool's prank that you put on. That was just a prank. I think you never know, man. I just remember when I was young and dumb, man.
Hell no. You see all the clothes and stuff you see me buying? Young Jamahal wouldn't even bought that, bro. I'm opening up now. You know what I'm saying? Back then, hell, bro, it wasn't gone.
That was a great prank. And Brian got you back. Do you feel like if we had to give a 10-9, do you think you still got him? Did he get you? Are you guys even? It sounds like it's going to keep going.
I think I won this round because I didn't have to call in any help.
Huh? That's true.
I like it. I like it.
Well, I think I'm on my own sheer will.
He was telling us about it yesterday, and we had seen it, but then we asked him, and he, you know, you're right. He had to have an accomplice, and but it was funny because he barely caught you and was able to kind of pull you away, and then the other guy was saying, "It's a prank. It's a prank. It's a prank." I wish he wouldn't have, because I'd like for him to see how long he can stand in the hole before you have to actually, you know, come to that conclusion of filling everyone in that it was a prank. But he pulled the plug quick, man.
I mean, obviously, you know what I mean. He said it, so he's not about to let it go. You know what I mean. So yeah, he already knew. He already knew what was like. I mean, what was going on. I didn't. You know what I mean, I'm just standing there. People been coming up to me all week. You know what I mean? People just been walking up to me all week or whatever. That's why whenever you first walked up, I'm like, "Oh, what up, bro?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
I saw that. You're ready to dab him.
Try to dab you up. You left me hanging. So it's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like, don't nobody like being left hanging. You know, yeah.
Hey, when you grabbed him, if he hadn't said it's a prank, and just looked at you and said, "What you going to do with that?" Was there a next step without committing the actual assault? Like another, there's got to be one more step to cause more fear, right? Before we get into some physical contact.
Very firm, a very firm grip to let him feel and see the situation that he putting himself in, and ask him, "Is he you sure, bro?" You know what I mean? And there, it's all right. Go that way. Go that way.
I love it, man. All right. Thanks for the time today. It's always great catching up with you.
My personal space, approaching me like you know what I mean, on some aggressive. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. You're the last guy I'd do that to. That's for sure. Thanks for the time as always, man. It's always great to catch up with you. Wish you the best of luck this summer for your camp for Thiago Santos. Can't wait to watch that main event.
Thank you. Appreciate it, bro.
All right. We'll see you.